Hey guys, in this video we'll be continuing with the Python tutorials. We'll be going over processing lists. So far we learned a variety of techniques for working with lists. Now we'll look at some ways that programs can process the data held in a list. So we'll just do some examples. So let's see. So let's have a program here. We'll just have some constants at the top. So we'll have num underscore employees. We can just point that to some number. And then we'll have just a main function, def main. We'll say that an hours variable points to, so let's say we have hours point, so it's going to be a list. We'll point it to index 0. And then we'll expand it by multiplying by num employees. So remember we did this before. I think it's going to expand it out like this in the list. So 5 indexes, which basically are indexed to 0 or initialized to 0. So now we'll have a for loop. So for I in range of num employees, so 0 to num employees minus 1. Then we'll prompt the user to enter the hours worked by employee, comma I, plus 1. That's it, and then we'll have so hours of index I points to casted float to the input function. Okay, so it's basically going to just so we don't really need this. Well, actually, we can just write it twice in this case. So enter the hours worked. New line. So here we'll have pay rate. Points of the float function casted to the input function. We'll say enter the hourly pay rate. New line. So now we'll display the employee's gross pay. So we'll have so as you can see, we're working with lists this time, but before we've done pretty much the same code a bunch of times without lists. So now we'll have we'll say for I in the range of num employees. So we'll say that gross underscore pay Do we say gross pay? Have we done this already? No, so we'll just say, actually let's just camel case this. So we'll have gross pay, pay rate, so gross pay points to hours of list index I times pay rate. So then here we'll print gross pay for employee I plus 1 comma so just some more symbols there, and then we'll pass in the format function. So we'll format gross pay comma dot 2f. Should be okay. So then that one's a little tricky because we have the symbols here. Well, we're basically concatenating a bunch of stuff, so we're saying print. Starting to get diagonal here too. As you can see, we're going diagonal. So I'll have to shift over I'll have to scroll the screen over to the right of the window, so we have print gross pay for employee. So it's gonna, every time it increments, it's gonna basically tell the pay for each employee. So it's gonna start at 0 and go to 4, because we have 4 employees, index 0 to 5. Sorry, we have 5 employees, index 0 to 4. So then we're passing in. So here we're just concatenating a $sign with a. I don't think we really need that shift semicolon. Could have put it here. Doesn't really matter. So then we have, so after that $sign concatenation, we're concatenating some more stuff with the format function, which we've gone over. So we're passing in gross pay, or formatting gross pay, comma, and then we're saying that we want it to separate the numbers if they're large with a comma, and then we want to have a float. We want to basically want it to be a float and want it to be to 2 decimal places at the end. I think that's all. So we'll call the main function after that. I think we have possibly too many too many for loops here. Maybe not. Let's see, so we have hours points to 0 times num employees for I in range, basically 0 to 4. No, it's going to be 5 minus 1. Yeah, so I in range basically 0 to 4. Print the hours worked by the employee I plus 1. Okay, so it's going to say print the hours worked by employee 0 to start. So the hours of index 0, because we're calling our list hours here. Then we're calling our list hours here again. We're going to say, okay, we want to enter some hours worked, and the pay rate's going to be some hourly pay rate, which we'll enter. Then for I in range num employees gross pay points to. Okay, I think I have one mistake here. Or maybe it's just unnecessary. So we have, perhaps it's my text that I have, my old notes that I have a mistake in. So we have def main, we have hours pointing to index 0 times num employee. So what am I looking at here? So okay, this is what I'm worried about, because we're storing the hours, basically. We're putting in the hours worked, and then again we're filling that spot in with the gross pay. So I'm not sure if that's what I was going here for. So let's just say we have the hours of index, the hours of list index I points to float, cast it to the input, enter the hours worked. Then we have pay rate points to float, cast it to the input, and it says enter the hourly pay rate. Okay, so maybe it should be like that. Perhaps we don't need this indented again, so let's just take that for loop out of that indentation. Let's just save and run it just to see what we get. Okay, so what happened here? Line 10. Something, okay, it's out of indentation. Let's try that. Okay. Main's out of the indentation as well. Enter the hours worked by employee 1. Let's just say 20. Enter the hourly pay rate 20. Enter the employee worked hours worked by employee number 2. Let's just go up 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60. Okay, so we have the gross pay for employee 1, this number, employee 2, this number. So actually I don't think it really matters that at first we stored the hours in the list, and then after we stored the pay rate in the same index. We could have done this in a 2D list, which we probably will see the exact same example in a 2D list, which is a two-dimensional list. We'll be doing that pretty soon, not in this video though. But it doesn't really matter. We basically just wrote some data to the index, and then we overrid the data by writing it again. We basically overwrote the data again by just putting another value in that spot. So the hours was just a placeholder just for a short time. So as you can see, 20 got erased. It got erased and was later copied to, for example, the gross pay, which was like 1200, 20 times 20 or something like that. If 20 times 20 is 1200. Whatever it is, the value got copied there. So pretty much that should be all. I don't think we need to step through this in the debugger. We've gone through for loops before. We've worked with lists. I've walked through that lists, the list data manipulation in the last, or one of the previous videos through the debugger, so I think we can skip it this time. If you're interested in seeing how that works, you can just see the previous videos in the playlist. In the next video, we'll be moving on to... Actually, I think we might just do it now, so let's just see what we have here. Alright, so let's do another example. So we can total the values in a list. Assuming a list contains numeric values, to calculate the total of those values, use a loop with an accumulator variable. The loop steps through the list, adding the values of each element to the accumulator. So let's just do an example here. Alright, so we have quite a few examples to do, but we'll just do one or two more here. Probably separate this video into 2 or 3 parts. So this part of the series, I mean, working basically just working with lists. So we'll have another example. I'll delete this. So we'll just say def main. So we'll create a list. So just say num list. Actually, no. Num list points to just some numbers. We could just have a big number at the end, why not? So we have, let's say we have total points to 0. So now total points to actually, sorry, so first let's loop that here. So let's say for I in num list, total points to, sorry, I points to, we can have I plus equals to, nope, sorry, total plus equals to I. So that's going to be total points to total plus I. I think we've done something like this already, but that's okay. So we have, we'll just print out the total of the elements are, or the total of the numbers. Total of the numbers is the sum, whatever is, passing in total. That's it, calling main. So we can just save and run it. What happened here? Def main, oh whoops, forgot that. Snake eye, so we'll save and run it. So the total of the numbers is, that's what the total is. So what happened here is we have our list, we say total points to 0 for I in num list, so I is going to start at index 0. Total points to total, so it really means total points to 0 plus 1. Then it's going to iterate back up here. So once it's here, total points to total plus 1, so 0 points to 0 plus 1. Total is going to get saved. So then for iteration 1, for I in num list, total points to now 1 plus 3, which is 4. Total points to itself plus 3, which is 4. Let me loop back up here. For iteration 2, we have for I in num list, so it's still within the range, basically, of the list. So we have then total, which is 4 points. So total points to 4 plus 5, so 9. Yeah, so that's going to continue on till index 5. I guess the number is this, whatever number that is. What number is that? 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. I think it's over $1 billion. So I mean, not dollars, just a billion. So pretty much that's about it. We'll just do the next one. So we'll just do one more here, and then we'll move on to the next example in the next video. So we'll average the values in a list. So the first step in calculating the average of the values in a list is to get the total of the values. So we kind of just saw how to do that. Second step is to divide the total by the number of elements in the list. So this program will demonstrate what happens here. So basically we just have the same thing. So all we really need to say at the end here is that average points to total divided by the len. of numList, because len's a function, it takes a parameter. In this case, we're going to say we want the length of numList. Then we can just display the total. So we can just say print. Sorry, we can display the average. So the average of the list is comma pass an average. So we'll just print that. So that's the average there. So we added basically everything. We took the total. So we added everything up. Then of course we divide it by the length. That'll give us the average. So that's just working with lists. We'll work with lists. We'll pass a list as an argument to a function, which we'll get into a little bit more advanced stuff with lists. So yeah, so hopefully that helps. Thanks for watching. If you guys liked the video, you can like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.